Welcome to the ultimate veggie tier list for health and natural testosterone. All right, you might be wondering, why are you wearing a Robin Hood hat? It's because we're robbing from the pockets of big veggie and big food corporations and putting health into your pockets. I think it's only fitting that we throw this hat on. These vegetables are going to be ranked off the ROI scale. Now, what does that mean? We want to eat foods that provide us with benefits. If a food doesn't provide us with benefits, especially if that food comes in combination with anti-nutrients or toxic chemicals like pesticides, you probably want to avoid that food. Whereas, if a food comes in combination with anti-nutrients, but it provides at least some benefit or it has a use case, then that is a food that you can consider eating. We're going to talk more about this as this tier list moves forward. And before we get into the video, if you look in the description, there's a link there to my community, Hi to Your Human. If you want to start taking your health seriously, increasing your natural testosterone, building a strong aesthetic physique, and stop eating the peasant food, go ahead, click that link, join the community. We'll set you up in there. And let's get started on the veggie carnage. We're going to start with corn. Going back to the concept of ROI, there's not a good reason to eat this. It is literally indigestible by your body, and corn has some of the highest pesticide concentrations out of any crop grown in the United States. Some of the highest glyphosate levels. So corn is going in L tier, lowest of the low. There's no reason to eat it, and if you eat it, you're exposing your system to tons of pesticides just to what? Eat an indigestible food? Use common sense here, guys. Next, we have zucchini. This is a fruit, technically. Zucchini's not super nutrient dense. It's not going to provide you with much benefit. So we're going to put zucchini in B tier just because it's not a net negative. There's really no anti-nutrients in zucchini. Next, we have spinach. 1 cup of spinach has about 600 milligrams of oxalates in it. What the hell are we doing here, guys? Your body can only effectively detox from 40 to 50 milligrams of oxalates on a daily basis. So if you eat 1 cup of spinach, it's going to take your body 12 days to deal with that? A cup of spinach is not that much, guys. What about the people that are drinking green smoothies every morning? I believe Chris Hemsworth literally got kidney stones because he was having a greens drink every morning with tons of spinach and kale in. This stuff is horrible for you. You're going to develop thyroid crystals, kidney stones. Nobody should be consuming leaves. Going in L tier, lowest of the low. Okay, next is Swiss chard. It's going to be the exact same story as spinach. Horrible for you. Super high in oxalates. Swiss chard might actually be one of the highest oxalate containing leafy green vegetables. Do not consume this stuff. Next, we got carrots. My opinions on carrots have changed. I used to think this was kind of a pointless food and people hype it up for the vitamin A in there. Most people's bodies can't effectively convert the beta carotene in carrots into retinol, the active form of vitamin A. But the benefit that they do provide, carrots have a type of fiber that can help your body detox excess estrogens contained in your gut, as well as binding to endotoxins, lipopolysaccharides, and carrying them out of the gut. And it makes these an S tier food because it serves a specific use case. You can make the Ray Peat raw carrot salad, which is raw carrots shredded with a little bit of coconut oil, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some salt, some pepper on there. Phenomenal dish. It's not something that I would eat every day, and it's not something that I would eat in combination with other foods, okay? Have that on an empty stomach, let it hit the digestive system, bind to those estrogens, bind to those endotoxins, and carry them out of the gut. It's not a nutrient-dense food. It just serves a specific use case, which is detoxing from estrogens and endotoxins. Next is Brussels sprouts. These are just tiny cabbages, okay? Would you take a cabbage and eat it? Probably not. Why? Because there's no nutrition in cabbage. They are a horrible vegetable, horrible food. There is zero use case for these, filled with anti-nutrients, tons of pesticides sprayed on them. So these are going in L tier, lowest of the low. Next, garlic. This is amazing for increasing nitric oxide production, boosting blood flow. It's got a bunch of positive health effects. It's amazing on pretty much any steak, any kind of eggs, amazing seasoning. Garlic is going in S tier, absolutely phenomenal food. It may have some anti-nutrients in there, but again, it has a use case. It boosts blood flow, boosts nitric oxide production. It has immune system boosting properties, so it's going in S tier. Next, we have cilantro. This can actually help to detox from heavy metals, okay? Cilantro happens to chelate heavy metals, meaning it binds to them and helps your body excrete them easier. Again, this is a food with a use case. Cilantro may be high in oxalates. Pretty much every kind kind of leafy green vegetable like this is going to have a good amount of oxalates in there. But if you're using it to chelate and rid the body of heavy metals, that's a valid use case for this food, and it's going in A tier. Next, we have broccoli. Listen, if I see somebody eating broccoli, I know that they have no idea what real health is. This is an artificially developed plant that no human should consume. It is full of goitrogens that prevent your body from utilizing iodine, and it downregulates your thyroid. It downregulates your metabolism. It slows down your body's ability to utilize energy correctly, along with the fact that there are a mass amount of pesticides sprayed on this. And it's not a vegetable where you can peel the skin off. You have to eat the entire pesticide load sprayed on that crop. F tier. Next, we have asparagus. This is a controversial food, okay? Number one, if you are sensitive to estrogens in plants, this can cause more estrogenic activity in your body. But the positives of asparagus are that it contains glutathione precursors. It can support detox in certain contexts. It could go either way. It has some benefits, but it has some negatives. The estrogenic effect that you'll get from asparagus is not going to be off the charts. I personally would never eat this. While it may support detox in certain contexts, I don't want any kind of estrogenic compounds entering my body. So it's going in F tier. Next, we have cauliflower. Same exact story as broccoli, guys. The goitrogenic activity of this vegetable is just as high. You should not be eating cauliflower. It's going to downregulate your thyroid. And there is zero benefit to eating this food, okay? So F tier. Next, we have kale. Same story as spinach and Swiss chard. This stuff is an oxalate nuke for your body. That's not a good thing. When you eat kale, you are sending tons of tiny little oxalate crystals to all the soft tissues of your body, especially your thyroid, especially your kidneys, where your body actually processes and deals with these. They cause problems. They cause thyroid crystals. Get this stuff out of your life. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard. No human should ever consume that. You should not eat leaves. You are a human being. You need to eat meat, not leaves. So this is going in L tier, lowest of the low. Next, we have lettuce. This is pretty much just a water leaf with pesticides. What is the purpose of consuming this? I know, there isn't one, okay? F tier. What do we have next? Quinoa. People like to hype up quinoa like it's this high protein, vegan, vegetable protein option, just because it has a little tiny bit of leucine in it. This food contains a specific type of saponin that creates micro tears in your intestinal lining, in your gut barrier, and it promotes leaky gut. You don't want things leaking past your gut barrier without being properly assimilated by the body. And quinoa literally contributes to this happening in your stomach. Do not eat this food. It is not a good source of protein. It is not a viable option to get your leucine in. It's just going to contribute to more gut problems. This is going in F tier. Next, we have beet juice. Again, returning to the concept of ROI. Beets have a purpose. Beets provide us with a certain benefit, okay? Are they high in oxalates? Yes, but they don't have anywhere near the amount of oxalates that something like spinach or kale has. Beets have the added benefit of driving nitric oxide through the roof, okay? If you have some beet juice before your workout, the pump is going to be phenomenal. Your forearms will look like Google Maps with how vascular you will become. Beet juice is going in B tier. I'm not putting it higher just because of the oxalate content. Not something that you should consume all the time. Definitely not every day. It's not going to hurt here and there. Next, we have oats. This is not food, guys. When you consume a food, good nutrient-dense food is filled with life. Think about a watermelon. Think about a pineapple. Think about animal meat. It is a living food. Oats are absolutely dead, devoid of life, devoid of micronutrition. As a matter of fact, they contain high amounts of phytic acid that bind up zinc and prevent your body from absorbing that micronutrition. They're going to lead to nothing but a little bit more estrogenic activity in your body and gut issues. L tier. Lowest of the low. Next, we have kimchi. This is an amazing food for gut health, especially if it's properly fermented. One thing you want to avoid is eating kimchi on an empty stomach. The spices can irritate the gut lining. If you have a little bit with your beef with a bigger meal, it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to support your microbiome, possibly introduce new strains into your microbiome. We're not eating it as any kind of healthy fiber source. The benefits for your gut are from your gut bacteria feeding on this and possibly this food introducing new strains. So kimchi's going in A tier. Next, we have soybeans. If you allow this plant within a 5-foot radius of you, your testosterone is going to drop by at least 900 nanograms per deciliter. Absolutely absolutely disgusting plant. The amount of soy that is put into American food nowadays is absolutely diabolical. The amount of men developing gynecomastia from consuming all of these soy products, soy lecithin, soy oil, fake butter, edamame at sushi restaurants. Absolutely horrible for your health. This contributes to breast cancer, and it will contribute to titty growth in men. L tier, lowest of the low. One more point on soy, the amount of pesticides used on this crop is crazy. Next we have sweet potato. Now I specifically selected cooked sweet potato with the skin removed. Most of the oxalate in sweet potato is contained in the skin. Is there a very, very tiny amount in these sweet potatoes right here? Maybe, but they're cooked, they're prepared correctly, and so these are going in D tier, okay? It's not necessarily a net negative on your health, but it's not necessarily a net positive either, all right? It's a slower digesting carbohydrate. There's really no point to eating slower digesting high fibrous carbohydrates. If you're eating fiber, it should be for a specific purpose, like detoxing from estrogen or removing endotoxin from your gut. Fiber is not beneficial in super high amounts, contrary to what people want to say, and a higher fiber carbohydrate is going to absorb slower, meaning that that carbohydrate is going to sit in your gut longer and contribute to elevated exogenous glucose levels for a longer period of time. You want your body making its own glucose and then giving it glucose when you need it, say before a workout or after a workout, to refill glycogen stores or give your body max amounts of energy. You don't want glucose staying up from an exogenous source for long periods of time. That makes your body dependent on that sugar, on that carbohydrate source. Next, we have beans. These are extremely high in lectins, guys. Horrible for your gut health. This will absolutely run a train on your microbiome, your gut barrier, your gut lining, contribute to gas, bloating. Any food that causes gas or bloating, avoid. These are going in F tier. The only reason that they're not L tier, lowest of the low, is because eating regular beans is a lot better than eating soybeans. Next, we have butternut squash. This is a great carb source, very similar to sweet potatoes, just has a much lower oxalate content. That gives it a higher use case and makes it a better carb than sweet potato, so it's going in B tier. Next, we have sauerkraut. Same story as kimchi, it's just a little bit better. Sauerkraut doesn't have a bunch of pepper and spiciness in it, so it's not going to irritate your gut lining as much as sauerkraut would if you ate it on an empty stomach. So this is an S tier vegetable right here, simply because it's fermented. A large majority of the vegetables that our ancestors ate were fermented because fermented foods give you gut health benefits. None of your ancestors went and picked some spinach out of the ground and said, oh, this looks really good to eat. What kind of if you do that, you evolved incorrectly. If you think that spinach looks like a good food to eat, your taste buds do not work properly. If you think that you like vegetables, you are gaslighting yourself. You don't actually like the vegetable. You like the salt or the butter that you put on that leafy green vegetable. Simple. Next, we have seaweed. This is a great food, especially for your thyroid. Very high in iodine. You don't want to overdo it on the seaweed consumption. A little bit here and there will give you a good amount of iodine. Some species of seaweed are extremely high in iodine, and that can lead to iodine toxicity or overconsumption in the body. So you want to be selective about the seaweed. I believe nori seaweed is one of the best seaweeds to consume if you're just looking to increase your iodine intake a little bit, give your thyroid a little bit more support. So this is going to go in B tier simply because it has a use case. Next, we have scallions. These are just onions with oxalates, F tier. And real onions. I got an Instagram DM the other day of somebody telling me that the only reason that onions increase testosterone is because testosterone acts as an antioxidant and onions create a bunch of oxidative stress in the body. I don't know how much truth that has to it, but onions increase your testosterone. This upregulates your body's testosterone production. So onions are actually going in S tier. The thing with onions is that I do find that if I cook them, they give me a little bit of gas. If you're getting gas from any food, a good rule of thumb is to just cut it out of your diet. But if you handle onions well, especially cooked onions, go ahead, consume them. Next, we have bell peppers. Bell peppers are literally a pointless food. They're a nightshade. A lot of people have sensitivities to them. The nutrients that you're getting from peppers is pretty much zero, and they don't have a bunch of beneficial compounds in them. Now listen, if you don't have a sensitivity to nightshade vegetables, they're probably not going to be the worst thing in the world, right? So they're going to go in D tier. They're just not very beneficial. Next, we have olives, guys. These are pretty high in polyphenols. A lot of people claim crazy health benefits with olives and olive oil. I am not telling you to eat the oil, but if you want to consume the actual olives here and there, not a big deal. They're not a super net negative. They do have a little tiny bit of oxalates in them, not a huge issue. So these are going to go go in B tier. Not a huge use case, but also not a lot of negatives. Next, we have parsley. Parsley's kind of in the same boat as cilantro. It does have some heavy metal chelation properties, but the heavy metal chelation effect is nowhere near as strong as what you get with cilantro. So parsley is going to go in B tier. Next, we have avocado. This is arguably one of the best vegetables. Crazy part is it's not even a vegetable. Avocado is a fruit. Most people think it's a vegetable, and that's why it's on this tier list. No, the fatty acid profile of an avocado is nothing special. You're not getting all these healthy fats from an avocado. Avocado is not a good fat source. Your body cannot create testosterone out of the fats found in avocados. Eating an avocado for the fatty acid profile is not beneficial. What you should be eating avocados for is the potassium and the magnesium content, okay? This is an electrolyte powerhouse. I believe that avocados contain about 800 to 900 milligrams of potassium. And so avocados are obviously going in S tier, pretty nutrient dense and very bioavailable micronutrition in them. Next, we have habanero peppers. This is going to irritate the lining of your gut. I can see an argument for seasoning your food with spices. No issues there. As long as you're not breaking a fast with super spicy foods, no issues, right? Who in their right mind goes up and eats a habanero pepper? Are you out of your... Humans don't do this. You know what your ancestor would have done? He would have went up, seen, oh, an orange fruit, let me try it. He would have eaten it and he would never eat it again. I would highly avoid seasoning your food with harsh spices or any kind of peppers like this if you are coming out of a fast, but these are going to go in D tier. If you do find stomach pain from consuming spicy foods, cut the spicy foods out, okay? Or cut back on the amount of spicy seasonings that you're using on your food. And lastly, regular potatoes. These are better than sweet potatoes. They're going in B tier. A higher tier food than white rice. A little bit more nutrient dense than white rice. Pretty good food for refilling the glycogen stores. It's just that a lot of times people overconsume potatoes on a bulk. Potatoes are a pretty good source of potassium. Other than getting that potassium in, they're pretty devoid in micronutrition. They're also a nightshade, so a lot of people have sensitivity to potatoes. So if you're one of those people, you probably should avoid consuming them. I personally consume no potatoes. It's not that I have a crazy sensitivity to them. It's just that they don't serve a use case in my diet. Why would I eat a starchy, slow digesting carbohydrate like potatoes when I can eat fruit or honey? It doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. The only use case is maybe glycogen store replenishment, but you have to be training crazy hard and you have to have an optimized digestive system. You know, keep that in mind. Again, guys, if you want to get off the peasant food, if you want to learn what you really need to eat for health, high natural testosterone, mental and physical performance, the correct habits to develop, how to get the toxins out of your environment, and if you want to get around the right individuals, the right people to be around, men on the same path as you, optimizing their health, optimizing their natural testosterone, tap that link in the bio, join the high tier human community. I'll see you in there. And remember, boys, in a world full of don'ters, be a doer.